Look, we have absolutely all been there. It's a random Tuesday night, you're sitting on the couch scrolling through your banking app, and you just feel that familiar sinking knot of dread in your stomach. Honestly, finance stuff can make your brain feel like it's literally going to explode. Between the budgets, the credit cards, compound interest, index funds, there is just so much financial fog out there. But as someone who is completely driven by spontaneous curiosity, always wanting to figure out how the world works and more importantly, how to make it work for us, I want to share a really fascinating truth with you. You absolutely do not need to be a math genius. You don't need a PhD in economics to master your own money. So today, in this explainer, we are going to completely transform that financial fog into total clarity using what I call the ultimate visual money map. Okay, so here is exactly how we're going to break this down today. It's a simple 6-chapter map. We'll start with locating your marker, then look at the physics of cash flow, the psychology of spending, building an automated money system, debt shields, and time travel, and we'll wrap up with your curiosity dashboard. All right, let's jump right into Chapter 1, locating your marker. So think about it like a GPS. You cannot navigate anywhere if you don't know your starting point, right? To locate your marker on this map, you have to look at your real, actual take-home pay. Not the fancy gross salary on your employment contract, but the actual cash that hits your checking account. And yeah, this means we have to do the slightly uncomfortable thing of confronting your last 3 months of bank statements. We have to bypass our memories here, because let's be real, our brains very conveniently forget those daily $5 coffees and random late-night impulse buys. But to find your exact coordinates, you just need 2 super basic numbers. The first is net worth, which is simply everything you own, your assets, minus everything you owe, your debts. The second is monthly cash flow, just your income minus your outgoings. That's it, the whole shebang. No complicated math required. These are your crucial coordinates that show exactly where you stand right now and where you're headed. Moving on to Chapter 2, the physics of cash flow. You can really think of cash flow as the engine fuel of your financial vehicle. It's just the physical movement of money through your life. When that flow is positive, you gain freedom, you gain leverage. But when it's negative, well, that gap gets painfully filled by either taking on debt or melting down your hard-earned savings. Let's look at a quick calculated shortcut to show you what I mean. Take Alex and Taylor. They both take home exactly $3,000 a month. Alex spends $2,950 of it. Taylor spends $2,600. So on paper, identical incomes, right? But look at the actual reality here. Taylor has 8 times more financial breathing room, $400 left over versus Alex's $50. That is a massive amount of leverage Taylor has to invest, to build safety nets, and just handle whatever random stuff life throws at them, all while making the exact same salary. So it begs the question, why do so many of us struggle to be like Taylor, even when we get a promotion or a raise? It all comes down to a sneaky mental trap called Parkinson's Law of Money. Basically, it states that our expenses will naturally just rise to equal our income. Actually, you probably know it better as lifestyle creep. As you earn more money, your brain unconsciously recalibrates. It starts turning yesterday's cool luxuries into today's absolute non-negotiable necessities. But listen, just recognizing this trap, that is literally half the battle. Which brings us perfectly to Chapter 3, the psychology of spending. Okay, so we are completely moving past basic, boring spreadsheets here and diving into the actual behavioral psychology of where your money disappears to. The key is to categorize your spending into 3 specific columns. First, needs. These just keep your baseline survival running, rent, groceries, that sort of thing. Second, wants, things that genuinely bring real joy to your life. But then we have traps. And traps are tricky because they look totally harmless in the moment, but they silently drain your accounts over the long term. Think about a single $12 streaming subscription. Doesn't feel like a big deal, right? But if you stack 8 of those together for shows you barely even watch, suddenly you are burning through over $1,100 a year. That, my friends, is a trap. So how do we fight back? Well, you have to understand your own neurochemistry. Marketers are smart. They use one-click shopping and buy now, pay later setups to totally bypass your logical brain. They want to trigger a massive dopamine hit just from the anticipation of buying something. So here is your ultimate defense, the 24-hour dopamine rule. Whenever you feel that sudden, burning urge to buy a want, just wait. Exactly 24 hours. Let that chemical dopamine spike wear off. It empowers your logical mind to step back into the driver's seat and decide, hey, is this a genuine want that will bring me joy? Or is it just another trap? All right, let's get into Chapter 4, building a frictionless money system. Here is a hard truth.
If you are relying on pure willpower every single day to save money, you will eventually burn out and fail. Instead, we need to divide and conquer by building a 4-account automated engine room for your money. Here's the setup. 1. The income hub. This is where your paycheck lands. 2. A bills account for your automated fixed expenses. 3. An everyday spending account that's linked directly to your debit card. And 4. Future money for your savings and investments. The absolute magic here is that the moment your paycheck hits, the automation does all the heavy lifting. Your bills and your savings get funded first, automatically. And whatever is left sitting in that everyday spending account, that is yours for completely 100% guilt-free spending. And hey, if setting up a frictionless system like this sounds like it's going to clear up your financial fog, take a quick second to like and subscribe to this explainer. It genuinely helps us share these actionable steps with other curious folks.
Now, I know what you're thinking. What about those nasty surprise bills? The annual car insurance renewal or the massive holiday gift shopping trip. Enter the sinking fund. It is brilliantly simple. You just take that totally predictable but annoying annual cost, divide it by 12, and set up a painless monthly transfer into a little sub-account. So suddenly, a super painful $1,200 hit in December just becomes a completely frictionless, automated $100 monthly habit that you don't even notice.
Which leads us to Chapter 5, Debt Shields and Time Travel. Listen, we have got to attack high-interest debts aggressively. If you are just paying the minimums on a credit card that has a 20% APR, you are quite literally working a daily shift just to pay for your past self's impulse buys. It's a full-on financial emergency. So here is the defense sequence to break out. Step 1, target your highest interest debt first, throwing everything at it while paying minimums on the rest. Step 2, build a mini emergency shield of about $500 to $1,000. Why do this while paying off debt? Because without this shield, a minor, stupid setback like getting a flat tire will instantly force you right back to swiping that high-interest credit card. Step 3, once that toxic debt is completely gone, then you grow that shield to cover 3 to 6 months of living expenses. And once your shield is fully up, that is when you get to time travel. See, saving protects your money today, but investing actually grows it for tomorrow through the power of compound interest. And the best way to visualize this is a shortcut called the Rule of 72. You just divide the number 72 by your expected annual return rate. So say you invest in broad market index funds averaging an 8% return. 72 divided by 8 is 9. That means your money will completely double every 9 years without you having to add a single extra penny of your own money. That is financial time travel at its absolute finest. Finally, we have Chapter 6, your 5-metric curiosity dashboard. Remember, I promised you didn't need to be a math genius for this. You don't need giant, intimidating spreadsheets. You really just need one simple, highly actionable check-in once a month. This is your curiosity dashboard, and it's just 5 quick metrics. 1. Net worth direction. Overall, is the trend line going up? 2. Savings and investment rate. What rough percentage of your income did you actually save? 3. High interest debt balance. Is that number shrinking down to 0? 4. Emergency fund coverage. How many months of pure survival are shielded right now? And 5. Next month's priority. Just pick one single area to focus on for the next 30 days. You just check this once a month. And please remember, you only compare these metrics to your past self. Real financial literacy is absolutely not about competing with flex culture or social media influencers. It is all about achieving genuine autonomy and peace of mind. Because at the end of the day, small, continuous choices compound into completely life-changing results. So now that you've got this ultimate money map to cut right through the fog, I've got a curiosity-driven question for you. What is the very first financial step you are going to take this month? Are you going to sit down and calculate your net worth? Maybe try out the 24-hour dopamine rule? Or perhaps start building that $500 emergency shield? I really want to know, so drop your action step in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Stay genuinely curious out there, and we'll see you in the next one.